Now we're going to talk about the interesting, I guess, multiple reports on the Lantern show that is expected to begin filming, I think, next year. They are trying to cast one of their leads, Hal Jordan, and the report that came out was that they are eyeing Josh Brolin, and that if they can't get Josh Brolin, then they are eyeing Ewan McGregor and Matthew McConaughey, which are all really interesting choices for Hal Jordan. And then today, the Hollywood Reporter released an article saying that Josh Brolin has declined the role of Hal Jordan, and that Matthew McConaughey was not an actual contender. So, I mean, and they mentioned that, like other rumors are, that they saw are also probably not true. But I do think, though, that just being offered the role, like Josh Brolin, I think it does show us like where they are going, like direction wise and casting. And I do think they want a Hal Jordan in their late 40s to 50s. I do think like they want an older guy in the role. And I guess I have a few picks for who could. I don't think I love them per se. Mm-hmm. But like, I don't really want somebody who's been in a role like this before. So Josh Brolin had already been Cable and Thanos. I'm fine with him not being Hal Jordan. And I know. I might really surprise you with some of these. Who knows? But I know Ethan Hawke was just in Moon Knight, but I don't think that's a terrible pick. I think it is in the direction of Josh Brolin, and I think he's got kind of the face for it. Mm-hmm. And I think with this version, I would want to see a more serious Hal Jordan, one who's not like cocky and kind of having a good time. I think what I would like to see maybe is like, just like Batman in this universe, you have a Hal Jordan who's, lived a long life as Green Lantern. And like I was reading that like in the 90s, there was this arc for Hal Jordan where he like basically a villain of his killed the entire town or the entire city of Coast City, which is where he grew up and lived. And there was like 7 million people there. He goes back, like takes revenge and uses his powers to like basically recreate like people and the city and kind of like uses it for his own personal like wants, right? And so the Green Lantern Corps like are on his ass and they're like, hey, we don't want you doing this. And so he goes and I think like I can't remember exactly, but he kills a few of the Green Lanterns himself and becomes Parallax. And then in the early 2000s, they write that like he was actually like hypnotized / influenced by Parallax, and that's why he went dark. But now he's like a more serious, more like self-doubting Green Lantern because he almost believes that he let himself slip, that it wasn't Parallax, mm-hmm. right? And so I think if you want to do a variation of that story, it would really fit into like an older, more serious, brooding like Hal Jordan.
Yeah.
And I think Ethan Hawke could play that kind of role. I think I don't know. I mean, I do think Ewan McGregor like has played that with Obi-Wan. I don't know if I want to see it again from him. I would have really actually been okay with Matthew McConaughey with that kind of a personality and that kind mm-hmm. of role. So yeah, I think I'm definitely warming up to this kind of a Hal Jordan existing.
You know who should play Hal Jordan?
Who?
Robert Downey Jr.
He's in his 50s, it works.
I think he should play all the DC roles. I think he should play.
Didn't he just do a movie like that?
He played most of the roles. It was like the informant or the influencer or something on Max.
Right.
I think he should play Jon Stewart too. I think he should revise his role from Tropic Thunder. Yeah, he's like, I'm the dude playing the dude.
So he's playing an actor from Tropic Thunder who's playing Jon Stewart.
A black guy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that can work. Yeah.
By the way, just so everybody knows, this was all coming from Jeff Schneider, by the way.
Yeah, and so it was
the Schneider, what do you call it? I guess it's kind of like his Patreon
YouTube channel,
sort
podcast?
of like.
I don't know.
It's his blog. Like it's like a post of his that you can subscribe to.
So it did. I mean, this Hollywood Reporter article did confirm that he was right about Josh Brolin, but it did not confirm he was right about Matthew McConaughey. So.
Right. Yeah. And so he was also bringing up the fact that it might be Ewan McGregor, right? Which we have said,
which hasn't been confirmed or denied, right?
Some people like Jeff Snyder, or some people like Hello Goodbye on Twitter, or whatever their name is. Are hit or miss. But on that Hollywood Reporter article that Ian was mentioning about them saying that Josh Brolin passed on the role. They were saying that from sources, apparently, the story sees the two characters investigating an earthbound murder with larger implications. We already knew that. Right. Sources say that DC and the producers are looking for a young, more fresh-faced actor for the role to play opposite an older and bigger name. So what is really interesting about that is...
So they want a young Jon Stewart, right?
Yes.
Is that what
okay. So what that says to me, and I'm not... Now... I think a lot of people, when they heard, oh, Josh Brolin's going to be Hal Jordan, so Hal Jordan's going to die. And I don't think that's necessarily the case.
No, I don't think so either.
But I don't think that, and I could be wrong. Because I do think that maybe James Gunn would want to be the guy to have a Green Lantern in the Justice League.
That is, no doubt.
That is Hal Jordan. But to a lot of people, Jon Stewart is the Green Lantern that they want to see. So, but what I find really interesting is that you can go one of two ways. You could have but the thing is that Jon Stewart would already be a Green Lantern, so you could go one of two ways. You could have it where, like, yes, like Jon Stewart's the fresh-faced young actor, and maybe eventually he'll be on like the Justice League, or eventually he'll become the main Green Lantern, similar to like how they kind of have like Anthony Mackie taking up the role of Captain America. Maybe that's the plan down the ways, and you have
I definitely wouldn't want to see like him die in the first series. I think that would be really rough to just have Hal Jordan once and then you're like, well, that's it.
But the thing is, like, he could be more of like, hey, like, I'll handle these other things. You are like younger, you can go do these things, like these bigger things that maybe I can't anymore. And he could be like the mentor figure to a Jon Stewart, which is kind of an interesting way to like see like. And I think it's an interesting, maybe, but I think it's an interesting dynamic to create.
Sure. Yeah.
And considering
I like it.
David, is it David Cornsweet is going to be Superman? Relatively unknown actor, young actor playing Superman.
Yeah.
I am leaning towards the fact that like that's what we're looking at is Jon Stewart is going to be the green like the main Green Lantern kind of moving forward, and Hal Jordan will be more of like how what is the name of the original Ant-Man? Like we have Scott Lang and then we have Hank Pym. So like how Michael Douglas is kind of like the older Ant-Man that we never really got to see as Ant-Man in his prime, could kind of be the case. And so I think I think this does confirm that is kind of like we're getting an older Hal Jordan. I think that's kind of interesting. A lot of people have wanted what's his name, who works with James Gunn a lot, and gets typecast for like every superhero role, Nathan Fillion.
Well, he's already playing
right.
He's already playing Guy Gardner. Yeah. He is a Green Lantern.
My bad. See, all right, there you go. There you go.
There we go. That's funny.
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head who I'd want to go for, but like there's plenty of older, actors that you could do an Oscar Isaac if you wanted to, maybe.
I was thinking like bigger, like big names, like already, because I think Josh Brolin and the other two were like really big names. So, like that's why I kind of went to Ethan Hawke, and I was like, is Brad Pitt too big of a name? I don't know. I don't know. It's definitely, I don't think there's like the perfect casting for
George Clooney.
Older Hal Jordan. No, I'm sorry. He's too I don't want a fully gray Hal Jordan. I'm sorry. I don't.
Okay.
I need some color in that hair.
But you mentioned Brad Pitt and George Clooney.
He's not gray.
But George Clooney and Brad Pitt are like pretty close in age.
I feel you. I don't know what it is.
Just dye his hair.
George Clooney feels like 10 years older than Brad Pitt for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, I wouldn't. And the thing is, like, yeah, I mentioned Ethan Hawke, who played a villain in Moon Knight, but like for the most part, like I don't think that's a very great role for him, and I'd rather see him in something else. I don't want to see any actors who have like already played a superhero. Like I don't think I really want that. That's just me. I know other people like really don't care, but
Leonardo DiCaprio.
I don't hate it. I don't hate
Joaquin Phoenix.
I hate that. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's a good direction to go in. I'm not upset at all that Josh Brolin passed. I don't think he was like the perfect choice. So, yeah, and I'm glad Hollywood Reporter confirmed it. So,
Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. Could you imagine? There's just no way. There's like 100% chance you'd never, and they would never. But
or would they?
No, they wouldn't.
But couldn't they?
He'd just be such a wrong choice. He'd be like such a bad choice personality wise, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.